Hi, welcome back to another episode of Examining Life. My name is Amanda, and today I am at Walden Pond at the site where Thoreau had his hut. And today's question is, what role should nature have in modern society? Who am I speaking with today?
Jerry Almond.
What role should nature play in modern society?
I would hope that it would serve to remind us that life is really simple, that life is precious, and that we should live humbly and gently upon the earth.
Thank you. Who am I speaking with today?
I'm Dr. Anthony Young.
And what role do you think nature should have in modern society?
Well, nature has every role. I mean, I work in the field of agriculture, and a lot of people consider agriculture to be adverse to nature. It could be clear the land and whatnot. But we're becoming increasingly aware that instead of bombing the land with chemicals and fertilizers, nature is resilient. If we harness the power of nature, it can do all that job for us. And so we're moving into a future where we have a growing world population. We need to produce 60% more food in the next 20 years. And unless we start harnessing nature and not going against it, we're going to fail.
What are some ways to do that?
Okay, well, I'll start with the soil because that's where all of our agriculture stems from, unless you're counting hydroponics and whatnot. So with the soil, we know that we have every single plant has intimate connections with microorganisms. Without those microorganisms, the plant can't survive. Now, what we tend to do, because we go monoculture, 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 we support the organisms that are deleterious to our crops. We're just giving them a no selection agent, just off you go, have a free feed. So what we find is if we diversify our crops, we add more carbon into the system, we're going to promote the growth of beneficial bacteria, beneficial fungi, beneficial microarthropods, earthworms that hoe the field for us and mineralize the nutrients to make them available to the plants.
Who am I speaking with today?
I'm Luke Doherty.
Luke?
I'm Annette van der Vlechten.
What role should nature have in modern society?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Well, of course, I wish it to be a place that we can find, I think, pieces of our true selves. So the things that are not being reflected at the moment in cities, for example, that is a great place to see what we, mankind, can create. Our creativity gets reflected there. So it's not a reflection of our creativity, but it's something that we are also very part of. And that I really wanted to stay that way. So I wanted to say, of course, I wanted to be as pure as it can be. I really hope that nature can be a place where it reflects not our creativity, but the origin of what we truly are.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. I do miss the stillness of it here. It's a lot of people. It's almost as if it is a public pool. I know it's really nice here, and people should enjoy it.
I think, I was saying, Anna, when we were walking in here, it's funny how opposite this place is of what I think he believed in. Like he would talk about really following your intuition and just kind of like, he said usually we walk westward, but he was like, just pick our direction and walk in it. And now there's all these like fences everywhere. You can't go certain places. It's hard, right? Because there's a large volume of people. You want to preserve the place. You want to keep it, kind of a special place like it really is. But then also the filtering kind of commodifies it a little bit, which kind of like takes something really, like you were saying, really pure out of it.
It's still so important to preserve these kind of places as well, but the real nature spots too, that we learn to listen to the heart of nature, what the heart really is, and also the heart, the pure thing that is also in us.
Yeah, I guess I have similar feelings in a way that cities generally, right, are very chaotic, and nature is too, in its own way. So maybe in that, there's kind of the reflection of the self in both natures and in cities in that way. And there are a lot of cool places like in Singapore, for example, where nature is being really integrated into the buildings themselves, which I think also says something about where we are as a species, or at least some of us are. Some of us definitely aren't there too.
No, that's true.
But yeah, I looked at places like that, like Singapore, Hong Kong also has stuff going on there. And actually, I think there is a city in China right now that's being planned to be entirely biosynthetic.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I think so. I think it's not slated to be done for another probably like 2 decades or something like that.
Yeah.
But like a big part of I think what they're trying to do there, because there's so much pollution going on, especially in places like Beijing, they're trying to create buildings that actually take carbon out of the air, so that the plants will like kind of absorb what's going on. So they act as giant filters, essentially.
Yeah, that's really.
Which is really cool.
I love how they consciously planned how to integrate nature in their modern city.
And it'll be interesting too, because in those places they also have environments that are very humid, and so they're actually very conducive to those kinds of things. Whereas here, it's cold more than half the year. Can you really have a plant in each building? It's an interesting question. Like, how do we adapt here? Because it's going to look different. You know?
Absolutely.
I took a brief architecture course 2 summers ago. So not to say I really know anything about architecture, but at least the person who was teaching the course said something I found really beautiful. Yeah. Which was that architecture is kind of like one of the last sort of broad human domains, in terms of like interests and also design that kind of calls upon like a general knowledge, because it's not just like, what does this material do in this way, but it's also like, how do people interface with space? How do people, like, what does it make you feel like when you're here and you are, there are tons of people swimming in the pond and being really loud and playing music over each other, like that. In a place that I feel like Thoreau found a lot of peace, there seems to be a lot of dissonance all of a sudden, you know? So I'm wondering if in cities, or I guess should is a hard question to answer, but I would hope at least that cities look to kind of what's going on in Southeast Asia and try and integrate themselves more naturally with the environments that they're in, instead of being these places where you clear out an entire space and you go, okay, what can we do just here, in this moment, It's not, especially nowadays, I feel like buildings are built very, not haphazardly, but kind of, they'll be here for 30 years and then there'll be another building later, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas other things were, it seems like built to last.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below how you would answer this question. What role should nature have in modern society? Thanks.